Welcome to Smoky Ribs. I'm Russ Jones. In today's video, I'm doing another Tex-Mex Cajun fusion recipe. We're talking about crawfish enchiladas. It's going to be good. Now this recipe is part of a challenge that has been presented by El Yucateco to I think 10 different creators, and they have been sent 7 sauces, all 7 of the sauces that El Yucateco make, and they're going to utilize at least one of these sauces into their recipe. I, for one, can't wait to see what all they come up with. There's already a few of them out there, been posted in the last day or so. So I'm looking forward to that. And if you want to see them, just click on the hashtag King of Flavor right below this video. That'll pull you up a page. And as these videos are uploaded, you'll see them just by clicking that hashtag. I want to thank El Yucateco for sponsoring this video. We're going to get busy right now showing you how to do it. So here are the 7 hot sauces. I'll be choosing one of these, possibly 2 as I said, but let me show you what they got. This is the extra hot sauce chili habanero. Now I have been using these sauces myself ever since the 70s. I know this company was formed in 1968. I was 10 years old at that time, so that was like 51 years ago. All right, here's a Caribbean flavor. I bet you this is really good. I haven't tried that one. Now I have had this one, excellent stuff. This is a chili jalapeno. And this is their hot sauce chili habanero. They're green. This is a hot sauce chili habanero. This is their black. Each one of these have a different Scoville unit to them. So this is their red, their hot sauce chili habanero red. And finally, this is a hot sauce chili chipotle. I know I'm going in with this in the recipe, and possibly either the green or the jalapeno. We'll figure that out here momentarily. All right, let's go ahead and move over to the stove, and we're going to get a roux going. I'm going to start this recipe by melting 2 sticks of salted butter. Our butter is melted. I'm going to add in some flour. Now this is a 1 cup measuring cup. I'm not putting all this in there just yet. I always go by looks. All right, that's probably about 2/3 of a cup. Typically with a roux, you'll go 50-50. If you have a cup of butter, then you'll have a cup of flour. And it looks like we're going to end up with that exact amount, pretty close, because I need a little bit more flour. Hold with that. All right, that's looking about right. I'm going to hold with that. So it looks like I got about 3/4 of a cup of actual flour to 1 cup of butter. And that looks perfect. That's what you're looking for. Now I'm going to keep going with this until I start getting a golden color. You at least want to go to where you can cook off the flour taste. And so that gives you more of a white roux. For gumbo, I go a dark roux, almost the color of a Hershey's bar. I have done etouffee where it's more of a peanut butter color, and so you know, this is basically what I'm doing. I'm doing a crawfish etouffee, but I'm putting a Tex-Mex spin to it. Been stirring this right at 15 minutes. Now, if you've never made a roux, that's the one thing you have got to do. You have got to stay right here with it. You got to constantly stir, keeping this flour moving. Else it'll scorch, it'll burn, it'll just ruin the taste of it. You'll have to start over. So as I said, I'm not wanting to go really any darker than this. This is really more of a white roux. So what I'm going to do at this point is take all these onions. This is 2 medium Spanish onions. going in. Now this will tend to like thicken up your roux, so to speak, but the one thing it will do is it cools the skillet off, and it stops the browning process right in its tracks. This is 1 yellow bell pepper and 1 poblano pepper. Typically you would go with just bell pepper for the Cajun Trinity, which is like the Cajun mirepoix. Mirepoix is onion, celery, and carrot. The Cajun Trinity is onion, celery, and bell pepper, but we're putting out a little bit of Tex-Mex difference in here by adding that poblano. And into that, I've got 2 stalks of celery, finely diced. Now I'm just going to let these sweat out for however long it takes until the onion starts getting somewhat translucent. But the one thing I do want to do is one thing I like to do anyway is I like to build my seasonings as I go. So I've got a Cajun seasoning, and we'll taste this towards the end. You don't want to overdo it at the get-go, just get it started, and at the end we'll finalize it by giving it a taste. Been going around 20, hadn't really been timing, around 20 minutes, and onions are translucent, everything's cooked down some. So I think at this point we can go ahead and build this on out. Alright, I'm taking some water. Now this water, what I done is I took the plastic bags that the crawfish come in. The crawfish I got have been bagged, they're Louisiana crawfish, but when you take them out of the bag, it leaves a lot of that crawfish fat in the bag. So I took just plain tap water and I put it in those bags, shook it around to capture all that fat. Alright, we're going to go in roughly about right there, start with. I'm going to turn my heat up. So anyway, yeah, the crawfish fat, it flavors that water. Now, if you got a seafood stock, you can certainly use that. And you can also just use plain water. It still turns out good. So I'm going to bring this up to a simmer to see where we're at on thickness. And there is a distinct possibility I might have to transfer this to a bigger pot. Alright, I have got this transferred. This is a lot more room. Alright, now right now that's about the finishing thickness that I would want. So we're probably going to add some more water into this. But before I do that, I'm not quite back up to a simmer, but that's okay. I've got some dried parsley that I actually dried myself here a while back in my dehydrator. Probably go in with about a tablespoon of that. When you dry an herb like that, it really makes it pronounced. Go in with a couple of bay leaves for a little bit more added flavor. This is the chili chipotle. I'm going to go in about a tablespoon. Tell you what, this stuff has an outstanding smell. I'm going to call that a tablespoon. Oh God, that smells good. This is the chili jalapeno. A chipotle is a smoked jalapeno, so you know, so keeping with the same theme, we're just going in with some of the green. About another tablespoon. The heat level on both of these is lower than some of their other sauces, so it's not going to blow your head off. But what it is going to do is impart a really good flavor mixed along with these Cajun flavors here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this up to a low boil, then we will reduce it to a simmer. And I can see already I'm going to need more water, so we're going to go ahead and let that happen. So right now I've got around 3 cups of water, and that's strictly something you just got to judge. Alright, it's pretty liquidy right now, so that's a good starting point. We're going to cook this roughly 30-35 minutes. We're going to just let this reduce and really get these flavors going. Now one more thing I want to add right here at the end is some fresh garlic. That is about 4 to 5 cloves minced. Once this reaches a simmer, I'm just going to let it simmer uncovered. I'm leaving it uncovered so it can reduce. I want a certain amount of body and thickness to this. We're not going to put the crawfish in until a little later because they are pre-cooked, and I don't want to overcook them. You know, overcooked crawfish become mushy, plus they shrink in size. So we'll wait right here towards close to the end. We'll be back. Alright, so I had a little bit of audio issue. That means forgetting to turn the audio on. So what I've done is I've added 1.5 pounds of the crawfish tails. I have not added any more water. I've been letting this cook out, letting the flour cook out, and that creates a real creamy, smoothie texture on this. So we got 1.5 pounds right here. What I also done is I took 1/2 stick of butter, the other 1/2 pound of crawfish. I season it with Cajun seasoning. And then from there, I just heated it up, heat it through because the crawfish is already cooked. All right, we are done. I finally got this back up to simmer. The crawfish are fully hot. As you can see, they haven't shrank much from what they were, and it's just a perfect thickness. So I've cut the fire off. I'm gonna put a lid on it, and we're getting ready to put some enchiladas together. It is time to make these enchiladas going with flour tortillas. Now, some of you might have seen previous videos, and I've had this discussion before. We prefer flour tortillas over the corn tortillas on pretty much everything, unless it's fried crispy like for tacos. I do like the corn for that. I don't want the influence of the corn tortilla flavor mixed with this. This really calls for flour, but you can use whatever you like. All right, so I'm gonna lay my flour tortilla down. I've got some just grated pepper jack cheese going on. Now you can certainly use whatever you like, but I recommend grating it yourself. I don't like the starchy ingredient they put on the bagged cheese, so that's what I always go with. I'm just going to lay some of these crawfish right on top of this cheese. Now this has the butter and the Cajun seasoning. We just tried them by themselves. Oh, they're good. Now, if you have a big crawfish bowl and have the leftover crawfish, they're even better because these have been processed somewhat, you know, pre-cooked, packaged, but they're still really good. So I've got these little serving dishes. These are oven safe. They will go in the oven, and it's just like portion size like you would get in a restaurant. I ordered these, I was hoping they'd be a little bit bigger. I could get 3, but I think we're only going to be able to get 2 at a time. So I'm going to take, ooh, that's still piping hot. I'm going to take a little bit of this crawfish etouffee and just layer on the bottom just like that, and onto that we're going to put these enchiladas. Then we go back on top with some more of this. Right now we just want to top this with a little bit more cheese. Just like that. And that's basically it. Now I'm going to go ahead and I've got 3 more of these dishes. I'm going to put them all together. Now on one of these I'm going to show you a different cheese that I'm using, and it's going to be mine because it's going to kick things up a little bit as far as heat level goes. Alright, so this is going to be my 2. I've got some cheddar, white cheddar cheese that is infused with tequila and Reaper pepper that is spicy. You really want to get all the flour tortilla wet with this to where they won't get hard and dry going in the oven. Just like that. Put the remainder of our spicy cheddar here right on top. Now these are going in a 350 oven for 15 minutes, however long it takes. Everything is cooked. However long it takes just to melt this cheese, get it nice and bubbly, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Ooh wee! Well, here's 3 of them. The other one's over here on the stove. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Now, the last thing you want to do is just put your little green onion on here for a little color, a little pop. Alright, so there's only one thing left to do. We're going to taste these bad boys. So what we think. Just look at that, man. That looks like something you'd see in one of your nicer restaurants. But I just showed you how easy it is to do right here in your own kitchen at your own home. I'll have a full recipe in the description box for every step of this. Very simple. Keep in mind you can trade out the crawfish for shrimp, no problem. Just do everything like I did. But if the shrimp are raw, which they probably will be, then you'll have to cook it into your etouffee longer than what I did the crawfish, at least long enough to get them cooked. All right, here we go. Oh man, so tender. Got that cheese going on. It just smells insane. Oh man. Pull the sound of cooking guy here. I love crawfish hot and spicy. And if you want to spice it up with something other than a cheese, and go with this triple X right here, that's going to give you all the fire you need. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Until next time, smoke your ribs.